Yo, what's going on guys, Arekkz here, welcome back to another Division video, and today we are talking about exotic weapons. The 1.8 PTS went live on Friday. I was hoping to jump in then and make this video for you guys shortly after it went live, but I spent about 3 hours in the queue trying to get into the game and ended up having to call it a day and go to sleep. But either way, I'm finally in and I've had a chance to test out these new weapons, so in this video we're going to check out all 4 of them, see what they can do, and put them through their paces. There is of course a lot of other stuff to talk about in 1.8 as well. We have the new West Pier map expansion, the new survival and skirmish game modes, the new optimization station to streamline the never-ending gear grind, new classified gear sets including my favourite Firecrest, and soon some upgrades to the underground. So there's lots to cover, but let's focus on one thing at a time. If you do enjoy this video, then a like would be super appreciated. Be sure to comment down below and let me know what you guys think. Now, to begin with, there are 4 brand new exotic weapons coming in patch 1.8. There's an SMG called the House, an LMG called Big Alejandro, and a pair of marksman rifles designed to be used as another exotic pair, and they go by the names of Devil and Heel. So let's start off with the SMG, the House. Unmodded, this has an RPM of 850, a base magazine size of 30, and of course, being an SMG, it comes with the critical hit chance baked in. It has the usual selection of 2 random perks, but then at the bottom, we have the perk that makes this weapon so special, Card Counter. One half of the magazine does 25% increased damage, the half which deals increased damage flips after 10 seconds or when the magazine is empty. But how do you know what side? Well, down here, you will see this little icon from the exotic perk. This is your indicator. When the card at the front is white, it means the first half of the magazine deals increased damage. Meanwhile, when the card shifts to the back, it swaps around. If you wait for 10 seconds, you can then see that it automatically flips, and of course, if you sink all your bullets into your target and reload on empty, it'll also swap. Reloading prematurely will, however, not trigger this perk. It either has to be reload on empty or the 10 seconds. That does also mean it's possible to trigger 2 flips within quick succession if you flip on empty reload and shortly after the 10-second timer is up. I'm unsure whether that's intentional or whether the reload should also reset the timer, but as it currently exists, and with that in mind, if you play your cards right, you can gain the benefit of the 25% increase almost back to back. It's a pretty cool concept, but there's also not a great deal to get your head around. I mean, it's essentially a flat damage boost some of the time. So if SMGs are your thing, and you have a build set up with them in mind, you could for sure get some mileage out of it. I will say it felt a little bit underpowered when I was testing it in a few encounters, but then I'm also not on my main character right now. There is a problem with the PTS whereby if your character was in the underground the last time you logged in, then you'll be stuck in this infinite loading loop to try and come back in, so I had to make a new character to test this out, therefore somewhat limiting my build options. So without really specking around the weapon, unlike some of the other ones we're going to check out, it didn't feel especially powerful, but either way, as a quick look, that is the new exotic SMG, the House. Next up, let's talk LMGs, Big Alejandro. This is a really cool weapon, and a pretty powerful one at that. First up, by default, it has an RPM of 1000 unmodded, which is insane, and a base magazine size of 55, which can easily be boosted to over 100 with an extended mag mod. But this weapon focuses specifically on a style of play that will have you fighting from behind cover. The perk is called Cover Shooter, and for every bullet fired while in cover, your weapon damage is increased by 0.5% up to 50%. The bonus lasts for 10 seconds, however, getting a kill with the weapon while in cover resets the duration, but the bonus damage is also cancelled when you have to either reload, swap weapons, or when you exit combat. So essentially, you shoot this very big, powerful weapon and it becomes stronger the more you shoot, up to a point, and until you reload, swap, or leave combat. It doesn't seem to proc in the training room for some strange reason, but as you can see here, when firing there is a little counter down here to indicate your current percentage damage buff, and the orange in the background is your timer, and that'll shoot back up when you land a kill. What is hilarious though is seeing this thing fire with an RPM mod and tac link active. It basically fires a straight beam of bullets, which is absolutely hilarious. Obviously this only works from behind cover, so you will need to pick your positions wisely, so as to always be able to take advantage of the bonus. But cover isn't exactly hard to come by, so provided you're up against something, then you're laughing. I've only had a chance to test this in PvE so far myself, but I imagine it's going to be pretty potent in the likes of skirmish, given the correct placement. But in PvE, it definitely rips through enemies in no time. And again, this is also without a specifically optimized build. I'm just running with the classified Firecrest build right now. But that, my friends, is the big Alejandro. Then finally we have the Devil and the Heal, the exotic pair of marksman rifles. See, these two weapons work like this. First up you have Devil with the exotic perk Fire. Headshots increase stability by 30% for 15 seconds, and alongside that, body shots increase headshot damage by 30% for 15 seconds. So if you shoot the body, you get a headshot icon down here to indicate you are dealing increased damage to the head for the next 15 seconds, and if you then shoot the head, you get this icon to indicate that you have the stability buff, again for 15 seconds. Open with a body shot, then move up to the head for the increased damage and stability, simple enough. Meanwhile, Heal has the perk Fury, where hitting weak points increase weapon damage by 15% for 15 seconds, and hitting skill proxies increases critical hit damage by 30% for 15 seconds. And again, proccing these perks will result in additional icons appearing to show you just what you've got. However, when they're equipped together, as a pair, you then activate the Devil's Heal. Both weapons gain the Fire and Fury talents, and the buff durations are increased by 15 seconds, so that pushes them up to 30 seconds all up. In addition to this, bonuses from Fire and Fury are no longer lost when swapping between weapons, and your weapon swap speed is increased by 50%. So I'm pretty sure you can see where this is going. Now both weapons gain headshot damage increase on body shot, stability increase on headshot, weapon damage increase on hitting weak points, and critical hit damage on hitting skill proxies. All 4 options on both weapons with each effect lasting 30 seconds, and you don't lose those if you swap weapons. So the logical thing to do would be to empty the mag in the first gun, take advantage of the 50% weapon swap speed to swap your weapon, empty the magazine in the second gun, allowing you to output as much DPS as possible before you inevitably have to reload both weapons. All up, a pretty potent combo. Sure, it goes without saying that you'll proc the Devil talents more frequently, since body shots and headshots are things you'll do all the time, meanwhile weak spots and skill proxies are situational at best. But the fact that you have access to all of them with both weapons is pretty tasty. True, you're running with 2 of the same weapon types, so your ammo reserves will be a little more limited, but that's the price you pay for making a deal with the Devil, or something like that. Either way, that, my friends, is the Devil's Heal pair. So, that's pretty much it for the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. For the console players out there, you will be getting access to the 1.8 PTS soon. The first week is always on PC first while they sort out the initial issues, and then they'll roll out the PTS 2 stuff to console soon after. So you'll have a chance to jump in very soon, but until then, I will try and keep you covered. Thanks again for watching. Take it easy. Catch you next time. Peace out.
West Side Pier.